Previously on John Hates Movies.
A wormhole's opening up! The Dominion's flooding through!
I thought we closed it! My lunch is almost over.
People are dying!
Now all I need is the last of the 7 seals, and Christina will be mine!
Colin, I'm pregnant.
I'm sick of your restless attitude, Chris. You're putting innocent civilians' lives in danger and causing the city millions in property damage. I'm gonna need your badge and gun.
But it gets results!
The last time we met in the arena, we were brothers. We still are brothers. Technically, you are correct, but I will have my revenge!
If we don't find the bucket, we won't survive long enough to get rescued.
Don't you understand? I should have leaped! I shouldn't still exist in this timeline! Where in the hell is Chris Arsenault?
You said that you loved me once. Was that a lie, too? That was another life ago, before I became an astronaut. Eric, put the grail back. It can't cross the seal.
No, I can almost reach it.
The House of Eric has allied itself with the Smodco army. They now raise arms against Radiolab.
I don't care who you have to bribe, blackmail, or kill. Just get me Spider-Man.
Serve you well, Lord Megabyte. Soon all of Mainframe will feel the bite of Bluetooth.
We're all gonna die! We're all gonna die! We're the only ones left. Devin betrayed us. He killed everyone.
Who?
If we don't find the bucket, we won't survive long enough to be rescued.
Eric, look out for that cliff!
And now, the conclusion of John Hates Movies, Jungle Apocalypse. The Reckoning.
Want to ring the bell?
I'm taking it back. I'm taking them all back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm a loner, Daddy. Rebel.
I am the walrus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to John Hates Movies, the movie review podcast, where my friends prevent me from talking on the phone. And instead force me to watch movies. I'm your host, John Barrup, and this week we have with us Eric Largent.
Tally-ho.
We have Colin McMillan.
I'm never eating at Benihana again. I don't care whose birthday it is.
We have James Barrup.
I took an Ambien and stayed up, so this is going to be interesting.
Wow.
And we have special guest, Todd Meder.
I'm the Wolf of Wall Street. That's all I got.
That's your movie quote, huh?
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, look at me! I'm Al Pacino. I'm the Godfather. Look at me!
Hello, I am Mr. Miyagi.
So for those of you who are wondering, well, you probably shouldn't be, but if you're wondering what it is that we watched this week, it is The Wolf of Wall Street. Woo! That's right.
Get the lewds! Hey, I'm first! First forget the lewds. First forget the lewds.
I refuse to die sober!
So the synopsis is Martin Scorsese's high-rolling Wall Street drama is based on the memoirs of stockbroker Jordan Belfort, whose giddy career ended in federal prison. Directed, of course, by Martin Scorsese. Cast is Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, Margot Robbie, Matthew McConaughey gets a credit, and Kyle Chandler.
Did you know that that's a real thing that he does? That's his warm up for when he's acting.
Yeah,
that's where that
they
came
just
from.
like that wasn't scripted. He just did.
That's a McConaughey thing for real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yes, it is
It's
amazing.
I don't know. Well, whatever else he's doing, he should keep doing it. That's just Matthew McConaughey's warm up. Are you
Whatever else
kidding?
he's doing, he's drinking, he's doing coke, he's jerking off twice a day, and he's making fucking money. That's what he's doing.
But like that's a McConaughey thing. Like McConaughey does that for a warm up, or did he just ad lib that for that character?
No, he does that for
Oh my
a warm-up.
God.
That's his warm up. The chest bound thing.
Crazy.
Yes. So who wants to start us off this week?
Well, it was James's pick. Does James want to start us off?
Oh yeah.
So let's see. I chose this movie because when I first saw this movie, I was tooling around Netflix and I was like, oh, they put on Wolf of Wall Street. Thanks, Todd, for drawing attention to the fact that we say Wolf of Wall Street, and now I can't fucking bring myself to just say it naturally.
No, I will fall on my own sword on that one.
Wolf.
But Wolf.
The Wolf of Wall.
The Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah.
The Wolf of Bobble Wobble.
The Wolf of Wall Street. All right. Anyway, and I was like, oh, I heard this movie's good. I'll watch it sometime. And I believe it was like 12, around about like 11:45 at night. And I was like, I don't think I'll watch like the first 15 minutes of this movie and go to bed because it was a work day. And I stayed up till like 2:30 watching the entire thing because I liked it so much. And as soon as I had the opportunity, I was like, okay, I'm going to make the guys watch this because it is genuinely good in every way that they promoted this movie. I think because it's a Scorsese flick and because it was an Oscar contender, that they downplayed the major angle of this movie is that it's a comedy. And it's like a crime comedy, like that I haven't seen a crime comedy this good since like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
And it is really fucking funny.
Yes, it really is.
It's so funny.
It really is.
It's so funny.
And you would never know it by the reviews. They all just, oh, I can't believe Jonah Hill in this. He just plays such a good, like, straight man and blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
what?
That's what people were saying. I know.
Well, who are you listening to? People are idiots.
Well, okay, no, but in the Netflix synopsis, it even says it's a drama, and I'm like,
no, it's not.
No.
It's not a fucking drama. It's in mine, it says it recommends it because it's a crime movie, and apparently I like crime movies.
There's a half hour of drama at the end. After he punches his wife in the gut and drives off with a kid, the rest is pretty dramatic.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that Jonah Hill, even though like he's a comedian and improv guy, like he's known as a comedic actor, he's an actor. He's not really like a stand-up comic or anything.
Right.
So like in any of his movies, he's fucking acting.
He just has a comedic look.
Yeah. So it's no big surprise to me that he can fucking act because he's been acting. You know.
I mean, he had already won an Oscar before this movie.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe people are just like,
Wait,
"Oh, Jonah Hill is
what?
going to break out from his like, knocked up and like loser stoner roles."
He did that with Moneyball.
Oh, is that what he won an Oscar for?
Yeah, I know none of you have heard of that because it's about sports.
I've heard it. No, I heard of it.
Never watched it.
It's very, very, very good.
That's about the lotto, right?
No, it's about baseball.
Golf?
It's about baseball.
It's about
baseball and numbers.
It's about sports ball.
Rollerblading? Got it.
NASCAR.
Rollerball.
Hey guys, Doctor Who's the most overrated piece of popular culture of all time.
I agree.
You are correct, sir.
Okay,
you got to go with something different, Eric, with this group.
Nope, Eric, I thought you knew me.
You're gonna have to insult like Transformers or some shit.
Whoa.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen any Transformers. I have seen a bit of Doctor Who.
You take that back, you asshole!
Try him for treason.
Anyway, So yeah, it's a shame that the thing that I lost track on earlier with Chris was that I wish he was here, because I actually really wanted him to watch it, because so many people I feel would start to watch this thinking it's a really good drama and find out that it's a very funny comedy.
I think this is the comedy in Wolf of Wall Street is right up Chris's alley.
I know.
It's a shame. It's a shame that he died and couldn't see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
So, I guess I have very little points about this movie. There's just the whole movie is about excess, and I love it, and I love the fact that I love the scene where Leo and Jonah's they just met and then they start smoking crack behind the restaurant.
No, they had known each other for a while.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they're just hey, want to try crack?
No, they had known each other for 5 minutes before that.
Yeah.
No. They were working together.
They had been working
Time
together.
passed. They remember Jonah Hill quit his job and started working for Leo, and then they went out for that dinner.
Time passed between those two things.
A week.
That whole sequence confuses me.
No,
we'll
it was more than a week. It was at least a few months.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this movie is the movie that Boiler Room wanted to be.
Yes.
Well, Boiler Room is based on the exact same thing. Boiler Room was based on the Jordan Belfort story.
Oh, it was? I didn't know.
Yes.
I didn't know that either.
But this is Jordan Belfort's version of the Jordan Belfort
Which
story.
is so much better.
As told by Martin Scorsese.
Because in Boiler Room, you could tell that it was okay, we've got to choose a regular accountant guy so that the audience has somebody to not hate. Because if we went with Jordan, then they'd fucking hate him. But the truth is, it is so much fun to root for the charismatic bad guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, House of Cards has proven this.
I absolutely love it when somebody is okay with being the bad guy.
Yeah.
And just does it.
Yeah.
I really like that. I love it. Absolutely love it.
He's a very shitty bad guy, though.
He did pretty well at it for a while. In the end, he basically still won. I mean, look at the.
No, he did still win.
He did. He completely won.
Yeah.
He completely won.
He completely won.
He never got his comeuppance in any way, shape, or form.
He went to prison for 2 years. Yeah.
Federal prison, tennis prison.
Yeah.
He was sentenced to 20. They don't cover this in the movie. He was sentenced to 22 months, and he served 18 of them.
Oh God, a year and a half.
I had to dig into the real story a little bit after. I saw this,
and now he makes millions of dollars every year as a motivational speaker and a sales trainer.
And 2 movies have been made about him. He's fucking famous. He's a hero for it.
Which goes to prove the point that if you want to be really rich, you don't go into sales. You sell to people who want to be salesmen.
Yeah.
That's very wise.
So, let's see. The last point, there's kind of a big one that I'll make is I love how this movie actually revitalized Quaaludes. Because before this movie came out, Quaaludes were dead.
Yeah,
Nobody was making them.
Are they a thing?
Yes,
again
they
now?
are.
Oh my god!
The black
because he
market
explained why they go away in the movie.
Yeah, they go.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were a prescription drug, but people were still making it in their garage and shit. Bathtub gin, and
people make anything in their garage.
And so but after that, the market just dried up for lewds, and nobody was looking for the prescription anymore. And then, because they had all this other shit, it was meth was cheaper and easier to get. So might as well take meth. And also, Ambien came out.
So, James, I gather you've taken lewds.
I really want some Quaaludes, but all I got is this meth.
Well,
guess we're doing meth.
Yeah, that's the thing is that, I've only got $5, and lewds, since they're not popular anymore, they're running $20 a pill, so I might as well just get this rock of meth. But...
God, this is horrible.
No, that's James just proved how he doesn't really know how much anything costs because James proved that he doesn't do it because he has no idea how much any of it costs.
You're right. Yep. And a person who actually does will laugh at what I just said.
A dime bag is $100. I can't afford that.
Right.
But this rock of meth is only $5.
I know you can get a crack rock for $5, but maybe in the 80s, but anyway, the 90s, but
inflation.
Yeah, inflation.
This economy.
Oof. I tell you.
Thanks, Obama.
But no, the thing that it makes me think about is because the way Quaaludes work is exactly how people take Ambien to get high. But Ambien makes you trip major balls. It doesn't just sort of like give you that giggle high that like Ludes give you. It makes you like see totally crazy shit. Like you get wizard vision.
Okay, so James, tell me what you saw with your wizard vision.
Let's not.
Oh, come on! This movie was about drugs.
James,
he opens at the beginning. It says, "I take all the drugs." So let's just talk about some drugs.
James, I'm wearing a wire. Don't incriminate yourself.
Okay, who's next?
Me. Shame on the Academy.
I know.
Shame.
Shame on them for like not giving comedies a decent chance.
Dude, this movie was so good, and it wasn't. It wasn't just raunchy and uproariously hilarious. And I mean, in terms of movies that I've laughed out loud at, and I'm actually not a laugh out loud kind of guy when I'm watching stuff. I sort of chuckle, even if I think it's really funny, but I really, really laughed hard at the disgusting, horrible shit that goes down in this movie. It's a dark comedy.
You can't look the midgets in the eyes. It'll like set them off.
Oh my god! You can't look it in the eye. You can't look it in the eye.
Yeah, I can't look it.
That. My god.
They're slingshotting midgets into a dartboard.
Yeah. And I was so glad they came. What I was really glad about is, that was one of the whole movie wasn't like out of sequence. Most of it was actually pretty chronological, but they, sort of hop back and forth on a couple things. Like he shows his super hot second wife in the beginning, and then you get back to that later. And, they show the midget scene, and then
there's kind of a montage of things that are going to happen in the future right at the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's like there's a whole lot of like, here's what you're about to see in The Wolf of Wall Street. But I was really glad they didn't like do the midget throwing scene again, that you just got to see them talk about it. Like, and how much thought these guys are putting into this midget dart game. Just because they were super serious about it. Besides being hilarious, give Leonardo DiCaprio a goddamn Oscar. He was really... He was. I mean, I've always been a fan. I really like him in almost everything I've seen him in, even stuff I didn't think I was going to like. I've always thought he was a really great actor. Other than in Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet and Titanic. Other than that, I thought he was really good in everything I've seen him in.
Yeah, and speaking of Romeo and Juliet, DiCaprio doesn't cry in this.
He doesn't cry in this because he's a remorseless, heartless a-hole.
I think this is the only movie I ever saw him in that he didn't cry.
You cannot make this movie without an actor as strong as DiCaprio at the helm.
Oh, no.
And there's so much in his timing and his delivery of these lines and he's basically in every shot of the entire movie. Like, this must have been a brutal shooting for him. Like, making this movie must have been nuts because he's in, what do you think, 95%? Of the movie, he's on screen.
I think he's actually in the entire movie, Colin.
I think so.
Maybe I'm wrong
can't
on
think
that.
of a part. Nope, he's not in the scene with Donnie and Brad.
Oh, and there are a couple of very small vignettes early on where you see the FBI agent working in his office.
Yeah.
But
So here's a
nothing
3-hour movie. 5 minutes of it does not have Leonardo DiCaprio in it. And I don't think this movie could have been made without DiCaprio acting and Scorsese directing. The thing that I cite that works so well that involves the two of them is the blending of the narration with him, between voiceover and him speaking directly to the camera. Because that shit was seamless every time. I typically don't like narration because usually you get shit like Odd Thomas, which is just like really heavy-handed.
But in this, he was doing it because Jordan is the best salesman on earth.
Exactly.
And he was doing it like he's selling you on him.
Yeah.
And on his life.
I think it was the right choice for this movie. It's typically something that I really don't like because everybody thinks that they're being so clever when they have the character. They all think they're Woody Allen. And when they're having their protagonist speak to the camera. And, one of the things that I really like and worked very well in Wolf of Wall Street about this is every time he's talking to the camera, all he's saying to you is, I am a tremendous asshole.
Is all this legal? Fuck no.
Fuck no. You know what else I love? And it happens more than once in the movie when he goes, see, what happens is, and he starts briefly explaining to you how his Wall Street scam works, and then he just stops and is like, well, fuck it, you're not going to understand it anyway.
Yeah, that doesn't matter anyway.
And what's brilliant about that, not only is it's not just that it tells you that Belfort is a tremendous ass, but it also kind of tells you everything you need to know about all the shit that went down in Wall Street. Is all the assholes that ruined the economy for everybody else. We're counting on the fact that none of us understood it.
Yep.
And we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this movie looks you straight in the face and says, you are too stupid to catch on to somebody like Jordan Belfort, and he knows it.
And it's easier than you would think. It's just boring.
I'm sure it is, but it's boring, and most people don't have the patience to learn it. So
exactly.
A guy like Belfort will be counting on that, and he's going to get you. And I think that attitude of fuck everybody but me was conveyed brilliantly through the mechanism of the narration. Typically when people try to do the Woody Allen thing and narrate, their protagonists just kind of come off cocky and full of shit. And this guy, that's sort of vital to his character.
Yeah, that's who he is. and he's cool while he's doing it.
Yeah. Like you can see and you can see that this guy is slick as hell. And like, of course it worked because he's that good at it. And you need an actor as strong as DiCaprio to pull that off. And he just blew me away in this movie. Hilarious. Also, oh man, the crawling scene.
I was gonna say that his physical acting is incredible in the movie.
It's amazing.
Like when he opens the passenger side door of the Lambo with his leg,
and his leg gets dragged
amazing.
Up with
right.
it. Like that whole sequence was like jaw-droppingly amazing, especially since so much of it is full body shots of Leonardo DiCaprio scooting his like limp ass bodily across like gravel pavement, and you know, like when he's dragging his face along the brick of the stairs, I was just like, I'm like, man, oh man, I gotta give him props for that, because that, I don't know, he was so good in this movie. I couldn't.
The stairs. I can do this. I can do this.
That whole sequence, even though like all what's going down during that part is so dire, but I was just dying, crying, laughing because of his physicality. Then Jonah Hill is in the scene, and now there's two of them, and they're both just like, you can't even believe what you're seeing. And then that thing is capstoned by the Popeye thing.
Yeah, they clip it together with the Popeye. Cocaine to Jordan is like spinach to Popeye.
Stand aside! He was just like that. The energy of that entire sequence is so unrelenting. There are rarely scenes that good in any movie of any genre, and this movie is mastery of dark comedy, and made even better by the fact that it's a true story. Yeah. So I think that is mainly Scorsese that is responsible for that, and whoever got DiCaprio and Jonah Hill and all the rest of the actors. Everybody in this movie is really great. Jonah Hill I usually really don't like. I haven't seen Moneyball, but now I would like to.
He's great.
I thought he was fantastic in this movie too. He's just playing a great piece of shit that's a perfect counterpart to Leonardo's piece of shit. What a great pair. I hate Wall Street, so I'm predisposed to enjoy the portrayal of this ridiculous villainy. So, like, this is sort of like the movie for me. Also, I typically really, really like movies about real piece of shit assholes like this. I like the send-up of the modern villain. I got nothing bad to say about this movie other than, like, if drugs and crime and violence and if bad things make you uncomfortable, this movie's going to make you really, really uncomfortable.
not really even violence, just mostly drugs and sex.
So this movie did set the record for cursing in cursing per minute ever in a movie.
I bet Tarantino was pissed.
The movie it passed was the South Park movie.
Wow!
Yeah,
another one of my favorites.
Wow.
Well, Colin, are you pretty much finished?
I think that's about it. I mean, I cannot believe this movie did not win any Academy Awards. I can't believe it. I'm kind of flabbergasted by that. I loved it. If you like dark comedy, you must watch this movie. And if you're one of those people that like has a girlfriend or a boyfriend who's like, no, I don't want to watch that movie because it doesn't have unicorns in it, tell them to go in the other room for 3 hours because you're going to fucking watch this movie. And you will not be sorry. And you will be a slightly worse but mostly better person for having seen it.
Absolutely. So, Eric?
Yeah, I can go. I don't have a whole lot to say, so I was hoping you were going to kick it to Todd so I could just cap it off with a whole lot of nothing. But because
that's the John Hates Movies way.
Right. So, So it may have been in last week's episode. I'm not sure because I haven't heard that one yet. But I did say, I think when we picked this movie, that this will be my third time watching this movie. I have now watched this movie 3 times. Yes, that means I have, with this podcast recording, probably clocking in around 2 hours. That means I will have dedicated 11 hours of my life to this movie.
I'm probably going to watch it again this weekend, honestly.
People have done more with Godfather.
People have done more with Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Star Wars, like, I can't even tell you how many days I've spent watching Star Wars. But anyway, so I've now invested 11 hours in this movie, and I don't feel bad about a second of it. Because this movie is 3 hours long, and it really doesn't feel like it.
Not at all.
It really doesn't drag at all. Even when they get into the heavy drama in the final third of the movie, in the third act, there's really nowhere where it really drags. And Scorsese does a great job of making a 3-hour movie feel like a 2-hour movie. And that's really what happened here. Another thing that is great about this movie is Jordan this whole time is telling you his story and about how much of a badass he is. And you can see that, you know, from almost the beginning, he's got the FBI on his ass, and they're looking for him, and they're trying to bring him down. And he's got all these opportunities to make a deal and walk away and take, be able to pay off and kind of live the rest of his life, but he just doesn't want to do it. He keeps on. He's a maniac, and he has to keep on making money. And at the very end, he gets locked up in the. He finally has to go to jail, but he goes, but then I remembered I'm rich, so I really don't have any consequences. And he's at jail, and he's playing tennis and relaxing. And the FBI agent that just busted his ass has still got his balls sticking to his leg riding the shitty subway back to his bad house. Like, it worked out for Jordan, and it didn't work out for the people that caught him. And I kind of love that moral of the story, that the bad guy kind of wins. I just kind of loved
justice.
It.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I kind of like that.
I actually like it, too.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric, let me stop you right here. Headhunters.
What?
Same thing. You hated it.
No, but this is the difference. I actually thought of I'm already at your defense, Eric, because I thought of this earlier today, and I'm glad this got brought up, because there's a lot in common here with the sort of corporate douchebag white male power fantasy, not white power fantasy, male power fantasy, and they're white. But the thing is, the end of
this movie was nothing like Headhunters.
No. It's not, and I'll tell you why. Because at the end of Headhunters, it's like, and everything's going to be fine, and our marriage is good because I'm actually secretly a really good dude, even though you've had no evidence of that through the entire movie, but my wife loves me and is going to stick with me, and everything's going to be okay. At the end, Jordan Belfort wins because he's an asshole that fucked everybody over and is really rich.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm with you.
The Headhunters presents a much more fantasy-friendly end result. This is just like, this is real life, bitch. Suck, I'm rich.
Oh yeah, and people had fun in this movie, and it was a funny movie, and Headhunters, nobody had fun, and it was a terrible movie.
Very nice lamps, though. It did have nicer lamps than Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, nobody got submerged in shit in this movie.
Holy shit. Okay, one last interruption, Eric. So, Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm looking at his IMDb, and something caught my eye. In 1998, he was in a movie called Celebrity. Do you know the name of his character?
No.
Brandon Darrow.
Oh, wow. Too deep. He's too deep for you motherfuckers.
All right, go on. A little bit of private baseball there, I guess.
Yes, that's inside baseball.
Yes, inside baseball. Moneyball. It's
See, James, you just wasted. James, you wasted the perfect opportunity because Eric said who. You could have said.
Ah!
You know what?
Dave Thomas Underwood.
Nope, you didn't get me. You didn't get me. Wow.
I thought about.
Oh no! Actually, I believe he said Roger Brown or something. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway,
it would have been.
Go back.
I fucked up. It's the ambient talking, not me.
With your wizard vision.
Yeah, they're everywhere, dude. It's crazy. It never stops. Never.
I'm also
stops.
laughing because I just remembered the conversation between Jordan Belfort and his father regarding the bush.
Yeah.
I love Rob Reiner. I love Rob Reiner.
Oh yeah, thank
welcome
goodness
back.
Rob Reiner
Yes.
was in this.
Yeah, welcome back, Rob Reiner.
Jesus Christ, that guy is a genius.
Yeah,
He
Rob
really
Reiner's
is.
great. Oh man, I really don't have too much more to say. I really like this movie. I agree with Colin. If the Academy thought that there was maybe a better actor that year, which there probably absolutely wasn't, or that maybe there was a better director that year, which probably there wasn't. Oh yeah, that's right. The movies that this was up against were Gravity, which was great.
Yes, it was.
And 12 Years a Slave, which was terrible, which was absolutely fucking unwatchable. So at least that's my opinion. Other people could have different opinions, but that's my opinion. I don't need to see 2 hours of humans being tortured.
But didn't we just see 3 hours of humans being tortured?
No.
That was self-inflicted.
Just like the Passion
We can deal
of Christ.
with that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't handle that one.
12 Years a Slave is absolutely fucking unwatchable. I challenge anyone to tell me that was the best picture that year. They were wrong. Anyway, getting all that aside, you could say they're a better director maybe because Alfonso Cuarón for Gravity, that was a great movie.
It was.
I don't know who won for Best Actor, but Leo probably should have. But Best Adapted Screenplay absolutely should have been this movie because who else adapted a screenplay better than this movie from Jordan Belfort's book, The Wolf of Wall Street? I'm right. So anyway,
that was the subtitle of the movie, yeah. Or the book, I'm sorry.
So, I mean, that's the thing about movies that are great and that we love is that there's not too much to say about them other than this movie was great and I loved it.
All right. Todd.
Am I the only one that's going to have negative things to say about this movie?
Probably.
I think I will go last then.
Oh, you want to go last? Okay, I'll jump in.
I think I will go last.
So I have. I love this movie. I've seen it twice. The first time I really loved it. The second time I actually didn't want to watch it. I knew I had to watch it for the pod, but I really had this sense when I first watched this movie that this was a one-time viewable thing. And in a weird sort of way, it is. It's an odd movie because when you're watching it, you're having a lot of fun because it's very well crafted. It's put together pretty amazingly. And as everybody said, it's pretty fucking funny and you don't miss the 3 hours. When you're talking about it, you can talk about the really funny things that happen in it and they're hilarious and it makes you want to watch the movie. However, the message, the whole excess, the whole everything, the fact that
the actual message is pretty terrible.
It is terrible. And it's hard.
Absolutely. Who fucking cares?
Absolutely.
Strippers and fucking blow! Like, come on! USA, motherfucker!
And
hey, those are the job creators.
Hookers and blow.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that I love this movie if, in a vacuum. But every once in a while, I'm like, every once in a while I think about this movie and I think about how it's based on a true story and I think about how much time this guy actually served. And I am just fucking disgusted by it. I'm just...
It's depraved.
Can I give you something else to think about? Jordan Belfort was paid $1 million for the movie rights to this book.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that just goes to show, if you're going to go into crime, you go big or go home. I mean, you got to steal all the money. That's the only. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of, because it's terrible. It's terrible, 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 and it makes me sad inside.
Yeah. Once you've stolen all the money, you can afford the best lawyers, and that'll keep you in jail for only 18 months. that was a wonderful affirmative, John. I'll tell
all the ambient.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you go down the rabbit hole of like what this movie means, like the fact that it's true, what that means. You go down that rabbit hole, and it's scary and depressing down there.
I'm there right now.
Actually, one of the worst.
I went down the rabbit hole, guys.
Well, look. Okay, so Bernie Madoff lived an absolutely luxurious life for like 73 years. Like I don't know. I would kind of like, and he's not. You know what? Actually, I did read an article that Bernie Madoff is getting beat up in prison a little bit, but like 73 years of having a great life, and then getting tried, and then I don't know, like 25th hour, like killing yourself or something before you get put in jail. That'd be a decent life, right? Come on, guys.
It would be a great life, but it shouldn't
be. Yeah.
That's not fair.
It's wrong. It's wrong and
the
awful.
problem is that Bernie Madoff stole from rich people.
Yeah, that's why he's...
Yeah.
No, he
Jordan
stole
Belfort
from poor
didn't.
people. And there were people...
Yes.
Well, working people.
He stole from
Are
working
you
people.
telling me that
He
I
stole
can
from everybody.
in Disney at 16 and get you out at 23, and you won't trust me to put you in Aerodyne Technologies at 2 cents a stop?
So, there's...
I like that it showed the shed.
There's one thing left that I'm going to say about this before I hand the reins over to Todd, so he can tell us why this is a terrible, terrible thing.
Toddy Downer.
It's not a terrible movie.
Toddy Downer.
I do have some criticisms.
It's just a nightmare of depravity.
Downer Todd.
Yes.
Basically this, and I've heard this in documentaries, I've heard this in like articles. It fucks me up that one of the big reasons that all this kind of shit started happening was because of the Oliver Stone movie Wall Street, which I don't know if you guys have seen, but it basically, and they kind of cover this a little bit in the Wolf.
Well, yeah, they reference it. They think I'm Gordon Gekko.
Yeah, and they cover it in the beginning of Wolf of Wall Street, where Leo's working for the old guard and how they're playing it safe and they're doing things right. Apparently, that was how things used to be in the stock market until that movie came out, Wall Street, and then all these young guys started to kind of take up Gordon Gekko's mantra and started getting into some real shady shit. So I think that's really weird. And
no, John, greed is good, and I'm greedy for your time, so I'm going to take it over and start talking. So here's the thing: when I started this podcast, this was the kind of movie that I was really happy about reviewing, because it's just a beautiful movie. Sorry. I thought I was going to get some pushback when I say when I started this podcast.
No, that's all right. I figured I'd just let you go.
Oh, dude, you came at it with confidence. I was just willing to
drive
with it, man.
I believed it.
Well, you're gonna, yeah.
Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Hey, John, I went back. I just...
You believe it? I believe
some inside baseball, John. I just went back and listened to our very first episode, and the opening of our first episode is me telling a story about how I couldn't get out of my apartment one day.
Yep.
That's right.
And it wasn't even that good of a story.
No, it wasn't. Okay.
A potato locked him in.
So, Todd, why don't you go ahead?
Oh, sorry, John.
Why don't you go ahead and get interrupted by Eric?
No, but the reality is that this film is very good. It's very awesome. It's very funny. It just says something about us as Americans that we're cool with this.
Yes, it does.
Todd.
Yeah.
So
Fucking The Great Gatsby Part 2.
I'm glad John broached those subjects because it makes a nice segue. But I'm going to try to open with some jokes.
All right.
Just so that I don't tear this, because I this is a good movie, and I don't want to give the impression I didn't like this movie. But so before I tear it down, I'm going to try to have a little fun with it. Can we address the elephant in the room? Jonah Hill's penis?
Well, I think that was obviously fake, right?
Can we wait? Yes. Can we all agree to assume it's a prosthesis?
Oh, that was absolutely a prosthesis.
It had to have been.
And can nobody please fact check that? Nobody.
Jesus Christ! I thought that was my wizard.
I haven't fact checked that myself, and I can safely assume you don't Google Jonah Hill's penis unless you want to go to a very dark place. On the internet and possibly in your soul.
He was Googling it right there at the party.
She's so fucking hot.
She's perfect. So perfect.
Steve Madden.
Steve Madden.
But I do have a lot to say about this movie, where I guess I'll start at the beginning. I've heard of doing coke off a hooker's ass, but blowing cocaine into a woman's anus is a really weird thing to do. I'm actually not going to say as many negative things as I was originally thinking I might, because you guys kind of changed my mind a little bit.
Yeah, we wore him down.
Devin.
I was kind of feeling like this was a movie I didn't ever want to see again. Now I'm kind of feeling like maybe I should watch it a second time for a couple of reasons. The first reason being I can watch it knowing it's a comedy going in.
Right.
I didn't know that going in.
Yes.
And it took a long time to catch on. Even though it was funny, I kept thinking, this is a drama with a lot of comic relief.
Right, like I'm supposed to take this seriously.
Right. And so I'd like to approach it from the start with that attitude. And I'd also like to know that nobody gets hurt from the beginning.
Like physically hurt or like
physically
financially hurt? Because people
in particular the little girl at the end. I almost couldn't get through that scene.
Yeah.
Well, but like,
and maybe it's
I don't know if
maybe it's because I'm a father, but I was monitoring Leo DiCaprio's behavior that entire time. And I was like, dude, open the garage door before you start the car. Open the garage door. There's no child seat in that car. Her head just snapped back. She's paralyzed for life. That's it.
No,
this is a horrible, tragic ending for that little girl.
That whole scene was
but everybody, the little girl, if you haven't seen this movie, the little girl's okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure everyone knows that.
That scene was like high alert, though, the whole time. As soon as they started, like, seriously,
Right.
As soon as they started talking about the children, I was like, oh no. Oh God. Oh no.
Right. Let me see. There were a couple of things I really didn't like about this movie that still hold, even if I take into account that it's a comedy. I didn't like the music choices.
Oh, okay.
And surprised that I'm alone on that. Well, I didn't initially like them. I did kind of come around on that on my own. And I want to talk about it, though, because this movie takes place from 1987 to, I'm guessing, roughly 94.
No, it's a little later than that. Like, I think he actually went to jail in 99.
But they do establish that it starts in 87. They show us the starting date at the beginning.
Because they say the Black Monday date.
There weren't a whole lot of 80s songs in this movie.
Yeah.
And I had a really hard time getting a sense of place and time throughout the movie, or for at least the first hour. For the first hour of the movie, it's basically all stuff from the 50s and 60s. And I know it is because when I heard the first 80s song, I wrote it down. Because that's when it really started to stick out to me.
What was it?
But I had it was a, where is it? I have it in my notes somewhere. I can look it up for you. It was Billy Joel's Moving Out.
Okay.
Which actually might have been late 70s and not 80s. But that was the first time they got within a decade of the actual time period the movie was in. I don't know what minute mark that was in the movie, but it was pretty late into it.
I noticed the Foo Fighters song was wrong for the time. It was not early enough Foo Fighters, if I recall correctly.
Right. They were really weird
that song
choices.
was from 96.
For a period piece, I was looking for, especially because I came of age in this era, so I would have been able to pick out songs and know, oh, then that means they're in this year, or that means they're in this year. But I couldn't do that with this movie. I was just kind of lost trying to sift through all these hits of the 50s and 60s, which, a lot of songs I love, but they seemed out of place at first. But at some point in this movie, I caught on to what Scorsese was doing. The songs that he chose for this movie sort of follow the same arc as Goodfellas. If you go back and watch Goodfellas, the songs he chooses for Goodfellas start in the 50s and kind of progress throughout the movie until you're into the 80s and maybe even the 90s at the end. But that's because that movie starts in the 50s and ends in the 90s. But the reason that Scorsese was trying to make that parallel is because he wanted us to make the subconscious connection that these Wall Street guys are no different than mobsters. The whole movie kind of follows a similar arc, and there are similar beats to Goodfellas throughout.
Absolutely.
And that turned me off at first until I realized what he was doing, because at first it felt like, well, this is just another typical Scorsese movie. It's just he's doing the Scorsese thing. There's all the Scorsese stuff. Everything's just Scorsese.
Did he play Shelter?
He didn't play Shelter.
Give me Shelter, yeah.
Okay.
Was there a Stones song in here, though?
I don't remember one. If there was, I don't remember it.
There might have been. But yeah, so that threw me. But I did come around on it when I realized that it was a thing that he was doing. But it's hard to catch on to that, especially
that's actually
since
a pretty
the first
good
hour
observation,
is
Todd.
50s and
that's
60s.
Some real talk. That's a good
Because,
stuff.
well, Scorsese does that with all his movies. He always chooses songs from that period. So it took a long time to catch on that this wasn't just him being lazy, frankly. As far as other negative things, I'm going to cross out a lot of stuff on this list right now. Crossing out all of this. But...
No, what's this?
Yeah,
what's this?
This
what are you crossing
movie,
out?
I don't feel like this movie needed to be 3 hours long.
It wasn't. It was only 2 hours long.
It was 2 hours and 59
it was
minutes.
2 hours and 59
2 and a
minutes,
half.
yeah.
I don't
But
feel
they
like it needed
squeezed
to be
those-
that long. I just don't. That was a lot of sex and drugs and sex and drugs and sex and drugs for me. And I'm not a prude. I'm not. I have gotten old, but I'm not a prude. And I was, how much sex and drugs do you need to actually see on the screen to get the message that these people just have a lot of sex and do a lot of drugs, and there's a lot of excess?
All the sex
Well,
and
apparently
drugs.
for me, it's about an hour. Because about an hour into this movie, I was ready for Jordan to get his comeuppance. I was like, okay, I get it. This guy's a douche. I'm ready for him to have his big downfall. And I was waiting for that for the rest of the movie, and it never came.
That's right.
For 2 hours, I
Yep.
waited for that, and it never came. And so at the end, but I can't really make that a criticism of the movie because that's the way it worked out in real life too.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why I love the movie, and it's like opposite of one of the things that I didn't like about Mr. Peabody and Sherman is how the ending is going to go in Mr. Peabody and Sherman. But in this movie, Jordan doesn't get his comeuppance, and it's great.
Well, it's great while you're in it, while you're in the moment.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's great for me to
It's
say
a
because
funny
I didn't
movie.
invest any money
Right.
in Stratton Oakmont. Yeah.
It's a very funny movie, but I've been wrestling with it since I watched it. Like John said, I just can't stop thinking about the fact that it's based on a true story, that all this shit is real, and this movie kind of makes me hate America, and I don't want to hate America.
No, this movie makes me love America.
I don't understand why the fucking FBI, why didn't they bust him on the drugs?
Yeah, there was only like a mountain of drugs
Wouldn't
right
he
there.
go down for a much longer sentence on the drugs than what they finally got him on?
Probably.
Yeah, because that would have been more on drug time. So absolutely,
Yeah, he would have had like a criminal level of drugs in his possession at all times. It seems like.
I don't understand, and they knew about it too.
Yeah, if they're gonna bring down Scarface, what's his name, on tax evasion, then
you're talking about Capone.
Yes,
right.
If they're gonna bring down Al Capone on tax evasion, then they can bring down Jordan on drug charges.
So I guess the controversy around this movie is, does Scorsese over-glamorize this lifestyle and not show enough of the consequences? And I'm kind of leaning yes on that.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of leaning yes. I would have liked it if he had and didn't have to devote a large portion of the movie, and I realize it's a comedy and it would be a downer. It would have been nice to just have some sort of little vignette or montage or something that kind of put a face on the victims.
That's no fun.
I didn't really get a sense of exactly what it was that he was doing or who the victims were or any of that, really. And
it's kind of mailmen and dock workers,
people who lost their homes,
right?
Because of this.
Yeah, and I know that they kind of allude to it, but I think it's a good example of please show and not tell, because I didn't get a sense of what Jordan was doing was so wrong.
See, what I got out
knowing
of it,
the real story, I know why what he did was so wrong, but just watching that movie, kind of feel like Jordan's a rock star.
Right.
Well, what I got out of that, Todd, is I think that the point is to see that these guys feel no remorse about this, and they basically just got away with it, and they really think it's awesome to fuck people out of their money.
And it's okay for them to do it. I mean, it is. What this movie plainly shows is that the system is set up in such a way that it's perfectly okay for them to do that with impunity.
Yes. And I think that's the point, is to show how messed up that is to show that it's like, no, I'm sorry, this really happened in the real world. Rich people are fucking you over and getting away with it.
Right. And go ahead.
Sorry.
And still getting rich off of it.
Oh, no, I just keep on trying to interrupt
Go
people.
ahead.
No, there's a line at the beginning of this movie where Jordan says, yeah, I get people to give them their money. The way I look at it is it's better in my pocket than in theirs. Okay, so I've actually kind of thought that thought before. Any time that I find money on the ground, like one time, no shit, I found $53 lying on the ground. And I picked, so I found a 20, and then I walked like 2 feet, and then I found another 20, then I walked 2 feet, and then I found a 10, then I walked a couple more feet, and then I found 3 ones.
And then his leg got caught in a bear trap.
No, no, it was at an apartment complex. And I looked around, and there's nobody there. And I kind of I was like, man, should I feel bad for picking this up? And the answer is no, because I've never dropped $53. So obviously that money, it means more to me than it did to the person that dropped it. Heyo.
I feel like that's a sentiment I heard reflected in a movie recently.
Right. Absolutely.
Already this has infected Eric. No, it's a good movie. It's a funny movie. My main beef with it is that it's hard for me to watch because it makes me think about things that make me unhappy about the way the country works.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So putting all that behind me, I kind of want to spotlight a performance in this movie. It's Kyle Chandler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kyle Chandler was really good in this movie.
The FBI agent, and I'll tell you why. His one scene with Jordan, where he comes in, and he's basically a blank slate to us at the start of that scene, aside from the fact that we've seen him studying charts. And the instant he sits down across from Jordan, and Jordan starts talking, I know he's not buying Jordan's bullshit. I know he's playing Jordan, and I don't know how I know it. There's something subtle going on in Chandler's performance, and I don't know if it's a twinkle in his eye or something, but he is somehow letting me know that he's not buying that bullshit. Well, at the same time, convincing Jordan that he is. I found some very interesting things. It seems that this movie is pretty damn accurate. All the things, all the ridiculous shit, like the crashing the helicopter in the front yard and sinking the yacht, all that shit really happened.
Yes.
Some of the names were changed, and some of the characters were amalgams of multiple people, but events were true. There was really an FBI agent who investigated Jordan for 10 years and says that everything they showed in terms of the excess and the sex and the drugs is completely accurate.
Wow.
As far as people who were portrayed in this movie who make denials, that's kind of even more interesting, because the only one that I really found is Donnie, which was actually an amalgam of 2 different people, but mostly Jordan's real business partner. He was actually married to his first cousin, by the way. But the only thing in this entire movie that he disputes, that he has a beef with, is he claims that they never had a 3-way with a teenage girl in the office. He and Jordan. That never happened.
Did you say
that
teenage?
incident never occurred.
That girl did
I
not
don't
look teenaged.
I don't recall it being mentioned that she was
They
teenage.
don't mention it. I didn't know it. But that is his only denial for everything that we see in this movie.
That was the girl that they said blew the rest of the office.
Yep,
Yes,
blew everybody
exactly.
in the office.
Yep. No, I didn't. I completely didn't get that she was a teenager from the movie. So I think he
it's
kind
never
of
mentioned.
tipped his hand a little bit there.
Yeah.
But that was his only denial. He didn't deny anything else.
Classy denial,
Nobody
Maddie.
would have known that she was a teenager unless he denied that she was a teenager.
Terrible.
No.
Terrible.
So that's all insane. But at the same time, then when I start thinking about that, then I get sad again because then I realize this is all real.
So does anybody have any final words in regards to The Wolf of Wall Street? The Wolf of Wall Street?
I'm just happy that I chose a movie that you all liked for once.
I came around.
I finally did it.
No, we
I
all like the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's true. Yeah. Yep.
I think I like
Means
both.
I gotta go highbrow. Next time, Mutant Girl Squad.
All right, so we're going to take a short break, and after that, we will be back with the game.
Hooray!
Before you get up for that final snack, I want you to know I'll be right back. Ha!
See, what's the other one? The one that you linked, Todd. Was it, I know you're itching to raid the kitchen, but please don't go. There's still more show.
Week after week, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Show them you mean business with our new Turbo Lawn apparel. Here's how it works. Buy a Turbo Lawn t-shirt, but tell your neighbors you just got the new Vlarf Turbo Lawn, and it came with a free t-shirt. Watch them panic as they destroy their lives trying to one-up your fantastic fictitious purchase. Don't forget to really stick it to them by telling them your Turbo Lawn has the same great taste as always, but with half the calories of normal shrubbery.
You can reach the John Hates Movies merchandise store by going to our Facebook page and clicking on the Shop Now button. Or you can just manually go there by typing in www.cafepress.com/John Hates Movies, all one word, into your browser. Welcome back, everybody. It is now time for the game on John Hates Movies.
Time for the game!
Time for the game.
The game!
The game!
This week, James is running it. James, tell us what you got.
Woohoo! All right. So.
Yeah! Get pumped!
Yeah, everybody! I like to move it. I like to move it.
Who does this?
Anybody got a copy of Jock Jams?
Y'all ready for this?
All right, so Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill are hot properties right now. We all know that I am CEO of Vlarf Movies Entertainment Division, and we really need something to draw the people in for our next big summer smash. So Leo and Jonah, they're coming by Lansing very soon, and so we'd like to give them a pitch. So hopefully they'll sign on. We can get them real cheap and totally blow everyone's minds with Vlarf's movie debut. So since I'm the CEO and I'm just deciding who gets the money, you guys got to give me your best pitch. And Leonardo DiCaprio or Jonah Hill have to be in one of the parts.
Oh,
it can even be like janitor number 3.
Sweet.
Because let's face it, we ain't paying these guys scale. Fuck that. We don't have enough money for scale. So what are your pitches? Got my eyes closed. I'm imagining the movie screen in front of me.
All right. Picture this, Big J. Okay, a beautiful traveler comes to New York City. She's ready to take on the world. When she arrives at a high-rise apartment building, she meets 4 kooky young scientists, all right? And their outrageous dialogue and wacky inventions keep our heroine guessing. But the boys are in for a real surprise when they find out that she isn't a woman at all. Starring Kristen Wiig, Aziz Ansari, Chris Pratt, Jonah Hill, and Leonardo DiCaprio as Dr. Venkman.
So wait, you pitching me Ghostbusters?
Yeah, it's a reboot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know they're already doing 2 more Ghostbuster reboots. Ghostbusters
I like
is
how
hot right now.
the Ghostbusters are all men. That's a fresh take.
Yeah, I thought that you would like that. I thought that otherwise you might find it kind of threatening.
Yeah, it's true.
Like it might challenge your worldview.
My worldview's very small.
Yeah, you know, I know that about
Really
you.
small.
I know that about you. I wouldn't bring you something that would expand your worldview. I wouldn't do that to you because, you know, like, we're friends. I care about you. You know, I respect you. I respect what you do.
I got a very large wallet, so, you know, I need that room in my pants, you know, so I gotta keep my worldview small.
Yeah, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, you know?
All right, who's next?
All right, I got something for you, James. We all know that reboots are very, very popular, right? But if you look at all these reboots, what do they all have in common? They're all action movies, right? So why not move into untapped markets? I'm saying it's time for the rom-com reboot. I think we do Made in Manhattan. Right?
That came out, like, what, 2013?
Something like that.
All right,
so
yeah, it's about time.
It's fresh in people's minds, yet not too moldy, you know?
Yeah.
So we do Made in Manhattan. Instead of J-Lo, we get Taylor Swift, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because she's hot. Everybody loves Taylor Swift. She's in
People
right
do
now.
love Taylor Swift, sir.
Yep. We let's see. For the love interest, we're gonna cast Joseph Gordon-Levitt, right? Because he's young, wouldn't look too creepy, and he's also very, very big right now. For the singing mop bucket, we'll cast Jonah Hill as the voice of the singing mock puppet, and we'll do it all in CG so that we save on all those puppetry costs.
Yeah.
And for the fan service, because every one of these reboots has to have a fan service, like a kickback to the old original film. We're gonna recast Hugh Jackman in his role as Wolverine, right? And then for the last part,
John's looking around the room.
And for the last part,
we're gonna Dragonlance books.
For the last part, for the antagonist, Professor Rumblepump, we're gonna cast the ghost. We're gonna cast the ghost of Bob Hoskins, because ghosts come really, really cheap.
I like the way you're thinking.
Yeah, I'm glad you do.
I think you took about money when you watched Made in Manhattan. But I think I like the movie that you're selling me here more than Made in Manhattan.
No, this is all, you know, we're going to stay real true to the original.
Yeah, Wizard Vision.
You know, and all the songs from the mop bucket are going to be auto-tuned, though, so that we can get that money as well.
Right, perfect.
Okay, so James, I've got an idea for you.
Yeah.
All right. It's somewhat similar to fucking Wolf of Wall Street. It's like kind of a stoner drama comedy. And it's about these 2 different gangs who sell weed, and they live on like opposite sides of town, and they've kind of got a little bit of beef with each other. And Jonah Hill plays a weed delivery driver, and he drives around in a large delivery truck that's shaped like a bong, and it also like spews out weed smoke, bong smoke everywhere he goes. So the one gang that sells the weed that he works for has this plan to take out the other gang that's selling the weed. So they strap up this bong truck with explosives and send Jonah Hill to go to the other gang and blow up their distribution factory. But hold on, guys. But through a series of mishaps and haphazard events, Jonah Hill ends up going back and having to through a series of mishaps and shitty events, has to end up riding the bong truck into his own factory. The title of the movie is Dr. Strangeweed, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bong.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
It's a long walk, but the actual setup made me laugh imagining it. Holy
James, These guys are full of shit.
Right?
I can't
I'm with
believe you, Mr.
Whoa,
Big,
whoa,
powerful
whoa.
producer, are going to let all these guys come in your office and bullshit you like this. James,
Wait, I had something
do you
prepared.
like to make money?
Oh, of course.
Oh man.
Do you want to pitch a film to Jonah Hill and Leonardo DiCaprio? Let me ask you something. Let me put this to you a different way. How much money do you make, sir, pitching movies? Just with the pitch.
Millions.
You make millions on a pitch.
Yep.
How much do you make on a movie, sir?
We haven't made a movie yet.
I'm suggesting just that. I'm suggesting we skip the pitch.
Yeah?
You've got Jonah Hill and Leo in town. They're already here.
Yeah.
Why don't we make the movie? We make the movie.
Just fucking start
We
filming.
cast Jonah and we cast Leo in every single role because they're going to be doing sock puppets. This is all about name recognition. They're talking about reboots. Forget reboots, okay? First of all, we've got Leo and Jonah on the marquee, so we've already got a draw. Now, we're going to skip past the reboot. We're going to do something really cutting edge. We're going to do a pre-boot. We are going to make Jonah Hill and Leo DiCaprio as sock puppets starring in next summer's blockbuster film, Captain America Civil War.
Beat him to the punch.
A pre-boot. I like it.
Man, is there a possibility that we could get either Jonah Hill or Leo DiCaprio's non-famous twin brother to play one of the roles, or to play their part?
Do they have a brother?
Actually,
I'm just saying,
we
since you figure we Bowfinger them from the start.
Oh no!
We can get you the equivalent of Leonardo of a different nationality.
Yeah, no, it's Brona Hill and Dio DiCaprio.
Have enough people seen Bowfinger to get
Leonardo
that reference?
DiCaprioli.
James?
He's like the next best thing.
I hope so. Bowfinger is one of the funniest comedies I've ever seen.
Whoa.
I fucking love Bowfinger.
Wow, we'll have to save that for
Big
another
talk.
day.
Dude,
Wait,
serious, I love
hasn't
Bowfinger.
Comedy
He
done
hasn't-
right.
He hasn't declared the winner yet, so James, I love Bowfinger too.
Yes, that's Steve Martin is an excellent writer, and that's some of his finest work.
Fuck you, you pandering assholes.
Eddie Murphy is fantastic. 2 thumbs up.
James,
Sorry, but
because I respect you, I'm going to give it to you straight. Goldfinger is the greatest movie ever made.
So James, who won?
I see. I like Todd's approach. That was interesting. However,
I was
Eric
trying
did
to sell you a pen, sir.
Yeah. He asked me for my autograph. That's how you do it. Let's see. God. Okay, Eric's actually made me laugh, but John's clusterfuck of ambient lizard vision was really good.
I don't even remember it. I edited
Oh
it
wait,
out.
so the one that makes you laugh isn't the good one.
Fuck,
There you go. Your whole approach was wrong.
Just to put it out there, I also thought mine was really good.
Hold on one second. Let me look at something
Colin
real
was a
quick.
contender, but I kind of think I had it from the start, even though I went last.
I was like, how does that? How?
Yeah, and then
Guys,
apparently I find out
how-
that I'm the only person that likes Bowfinger in the worst possible way.
Guys,
been
how
a
I
long time
learned to
since I
stop
saw
worrying
Bowfinger.
and love the bong? That's a good
Man,
That is a good
It is a good joke. I respect your dad joke.
Oh man.
Mine was a cleverly masked Ghostbusters thing.
Yeah, Paul Feig is already doing that.
Yeah, if they hadn't already been doing the guy Ghostbusters reboot. They soon after saying that they were going to do one with all girls, they said that they're going to do one with all guys
Yeah.
too.
And then,
Yeah, I
then
saw
didn't
that,
they
and
also say we're planning to do 6 of them?
And a TV show.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
All right, so,
Because Ghostbusters is such a great property that we have to spend the rest of our lives watching Ghostbusters.
Why do I get the
Well, it's
uneasy
funny,
feeling Harold Ramis had to die in order for them to do this?
That's kind of what I think, like, because I know that the original cast was very... the reason there wasn't a Ghostbusters 3 is they didn't want to make one.
Well, Dan
Aykroyd
did. He's
well,
he
yeah,
is
but the
a
other guys did
crazy
not.
man.
Yes, he is. And doesn't... I don't remember much in the recent past that he produced that was of much quality.
James.
So I'm stuck on. I really am like tied between John and Eric, but John had the most recent win, so I'm going to go with Eric.
Whoa!
Ew, is that how we're playing?
I was.
Well, I figured that's how I'd play it.
Well, look,
James,
I mean,
hooked you up last week.
Yeah, hold on. Last week, me and John were tied as well. And it went to neither of us. So are you sure you don't want to go with Todd?
I am the decider.
No, yeah. I'm between whether I should go with Rage, the one I was going to pick last week, the fucking Nicolas Cage movie, which it doesn't sound like anybody wants to watch.
No, we already saw a bad movie not too long ago.
Or Bill and Ted, or Starship Troopers. And I am going to go with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yay!
Excellent!
It's been ages since
Oh, that's Wayne's World, guys.
yeah, James.
They
Party
do get
on,
better.
dudes. And remember, be excellent unto each other.
There you
And
go.
party on, dudes.
Yeah, that's
Lincoln said it.
Lincoln, yeah.
Well, I'm all for it. I'm excited. So, everyone, next week we are going to be watching Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Not Bogus Journey.
Not Bogus Journey.
Don't knock Bogus Journey.
That's not that bad either.
Good night, everybody.
A great big thank you to our staff graphic artist, Tabby Walters, the Weekly Cast, and our listeners. You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, through YouTube, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. Every third episode is Listener Appreciation, where we choose from your suggestions. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies YouTube channel, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say...
There you go.
Yeah! And then we're going to Tennessee, then we're going back to Washington, D.C. and take back the White House! Yeah!